please welcome, we have director Roshan Sethi, the stars Karan Soni and Jonathan Groff. We have the playwright on which the movie was based, Madhuri Shekar, and producer Charlie McSpadden. We just have to stay. We have to do half over there. Can you guys move down? Anyway, there's going to be a logo that we like to get our nice pictures. Sorry. But you can step forward. We're good. We're up here. So let's start. Sorry about this. Little hiccups. Congratulations on this lovely, lovely film. Did you guys like it as much as we did? The minute we saw it, we knew we had to show it to you guys. And you were the opening night of New Fest in New York on Friday, right? How did that go?
It was great. It was wonderful. We worked so hard on this movie, so we're excited every time we share it.
And Jonathan, was this the first time you saw the film with an audience?
What? Yes, I'm a wreck.
Yeah?
I'm a wreck. It's so beautiful. They just killed it. I'm so overwhelmed. It was so beautiful. Based on your amazing work, you produced the hell of it. Hometown boy, Charlie. Charlie's from East Hampton. It was painful to watch. It was so beautiful. I'm in awe.
We're so happy to have you here. So let's start talking about how you first found it. So Madhuri wrote the play, and then who saw it first? Did you see it first?
I had actually still never seen the play, which is crazy. But the play came to Charlie, and the company that Charlie works at, Levantine, optioned it. And then so I came on much later. Karan and I both came after the material had been developed.
Yeah. So I had been looking for a gay love story that was not based in trauma or sad, and it was uplifting and was about the family. And I had sort of spread that word, and Madhuri's manager sent it to me, and it was exactly what I was looking for. And yeah, I first met with Madhuri, and she said, "I am not a gay man." And also, I wrote it when I was very single, and my parents were setting me up with every Indian man they could find. And I'm married now, and I would if you find me someone to adapt it, I would take part. Is that about right?
I want to say that in our first conversation, you spoke so beautifully about your sisters, and I knew that you got it, and you'd be the right person to shepherd this project.
Yeah, I just want to add that so I related to the play in part because I'm gay myself and had, encountered that moment of falling in love with someone, bringing them home to my parents, and feeling that fear. And, like anyone, you don't have to be gay or straight, and, you just have that feeling of, will my family accept this person? And I also, the relationship reminded me a lot of a relationship my sister had. And in a sad turn of events, my sister passed away suddenly when we were about to make the film.
Oh.
And I was very, very fortunate to have everyone on the stage to help, keep my sister Kate close to me while making the film. And they all independently suggested that we dedicate it to her, so it is in her honor.
So nice.
And I have to say that without this movie, I don't think I would have been able to get through that first year. And so I'm eternally grateful for everyone here, and obviously for you for accepting and embracing the movie as well. But yeah, and then,
Can you talk a little bit about how then you guys were able, and you had another screenwriter, how you were able to open it up to have the big set pieces and all the fun? I mean, maybe those were in the play too, but to expand the world a bit.
Well, I think that also, so Eric Randall, who did the adaptation, when I met him, he had spoken. He's like, I'm about to propose to my boyfriend, and we want to have a religious ceremony. His mom is a priest, but it's very complicated, and so he felt very like the perfect counterpart to Madhuri. And I put the two of them together, and they became fast friends. And they walked in like they would know each other for years, and then with the sort of power team, Eric wrote the script, and Roshan actually had reached out. He was like, hey, did you find someone to adapt that? Because I had sent it to Roshan first. And I was like, yeah, I need a director now. I need a gay Indian director. And he's like, well,
Am I
I made a movie. And Roshan had sent me the film he made with Karan, 7 Days, and it was perfect. And it really, we had 3 writers, and Karan is also a writer too, so really 4 writers, working on this script, putting so much of themselves into it. And Roshan, I don't know if you want to talk about expanding it out in terms of a director.
Well, the play is incredible and has been performed since 2012. And it was the heart of the movie is the play. Almost everything that happens in the family house, for example, is verbatim from the play, as well as many other parts. So it was in a way, by the time we arrived, it was getting as much of the play as we could in there because we loved it so much. There were little things that were personal to our own experience, both being gay and Indian, that we added, but I would say they're marginal.
Can you talk a little bit about your cast, including your partner?
Yeah, well, as soon as Charlie and I met and we talked about doing the movie, I immediately obviously wanted Karan to play him, and then we independently made a cold submission to Jonathan. None of us knew him or had any connection to him, and he watched 7 Days and liked it, and then we met, and during the meeting, he asked if I would consider casting the guy who had been in 7 Days, which was Karan. And he thought Karan was straight, because Karan plays straight in that movie, and I guess just gave him that vibe.
Convincingly.
And he was like, I know, gay actors should play gay roles, blah, 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 but maybe we'd make an exception for Karan. And I was like, no, Karan is gay. With me, we're gay. And then that was it. That was the casting process. Everyone else came kind of after that. Zarna is very popular on Instagram. She has over 1 million followers.
The mother, Zarna, who plays the mother.
Plays the mother. She's,
It's her first acting role?
First acting role. She had never acted before, but I, like many people, was obsessed with her presence on Instagram. She finds her way into everyone's algorithm. There's a good chance you've seen or heard her at some point in your life. And we were convinced she could act, so we did literally a 5-minute audition where we just had her read the lines, and she just read them from a paper. And she just is that person. She is that character, and I don't even know if she is acting. I think that is literally just her supremely gifted. Harish Patel is from India and a very well-known character actor in India, and we'd been fans of him for a long time.
The father.
The father, yes.
So, and I saw that Zarna also is going to be in Mindy Kaling's next project, right?
Yeah, Zarna is co-writing a show that Mindy is producing that is a sitcom for CBS.
Cool.
And that'll come out next year, hopefully.
So, Karan, I watched some interviews, and you mentioned that you and Roshan and Jonathan are an emotional throuple. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because you guys have great chemistry, which must have been kind of weird for you, but whatever.
Yeah.
Talk about how that went.
Well, making any movie is impossible. So this one took 3-4 years to get made. So in that process, you're like, is it going to get made? What's going to happen? So you just keep pushing the boulder up the hill, and you're like, just say yes and just try to problem solve. So at some point, someone was like, is it going to be so awkward? You have to propose to another guy. He's directing. You have to kiss a bunch of times. You have to do all this stuff. And we didn't even think about it because we were like, we'll get to that day when we get to that day. And then we cast Jonathan. We were so excited. And then I do remember 1 or 2 days before starting, I was like, is this going to destroy us? What's going to happen? And then we started working with Jonathan, and we just loved him so much. And we couldn't have imagined doing it with anyone else. And it is a very vulnerable thing to make something as a couple, but then also there's so much other stuff happening, and it was this complicated thing that we hadn't really thought about, but without him, I don't think we could have done it. And for both of us, this is such a personal story, and it was hard to make and get to this stage, and so when another person joins that thing and is as enthusiastic and wants to make it good and is giving it their 100%, you just automatically fall in love with them because they're helping you build this dream. So we will forever be an emotional throuple with Jonathan.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jonathan, how much did you know about Indian culture before you took on this film? I'm assuming your parents are not Indian people who adopted you.
It's so funny because, oh my God, thank you. Is this thing on? Yes, it's working. Didn't you all feel like those were our parents watching the movie? It's because I had this experience. I didn't know anything, to answer your question, at all about Indian culture. I kind of started meditating, so that was my only connection. But yeah, immediately the first scene that I shot was with the family, and I was so overwhelmed by how the differences were as enormous as the similarities of family dynamic. And I'm just struck. This is my first time seeing the movie. So struck again, feeling wow. such different worlds, but there's so much universality in the story, so much to connect to, especially with that family parental dynamic, regardless of the cultural differences.
Yeah.
So relatable.
I love the new wrinkles in this rom-com, all these, these just different angles on a rom-com. What do you want audiences to take away from your film?
I don't know personally that I have any particular message in mind. I hope people feel that feeling of family and love and acceptance and belonging and all of those things. And I'd say that personally, for me, the emotions are more important than any particular message. The gay rights of it all is under the surface and obviously an ongoing battle in many communities. But I think this movie and the play as well treads lightly on that issue. Interestingly, the play was written before gay marriage was legal, so I can't even imagine what it was like when you were writing it and how much that was on your mind. So I'd be more curious what Madhuri has to say.
I don't have a message. I just want people to have a good time. At the New Fest opening, someone came up to me and said, "I hate movies, and I really loved this movie." And I remember thinking, well, I wrote the play for people who hate theaters. Makes sense.
You wrote it for people that hate theater.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What do you mean?
It means come and laugh your ass off and have a great time. Yeah. And that's come and have a good time at the theater.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Well, we just have time for one more question, and I can't let you get off the stage without telling you all that Roshan is also a doctor. Talk about an overachieving Indian son, right? He's a doctor, and I saw you're a doctor 9 weeks out of the year. What does that mean?
Yeah, so
Can you explain?
I cover consults at Dana-Farber Brigham for 9 weeks of the year. And so when I'm on, I'm on. It's 24/7, and I'm just covering radiation oncology, palliative consults. So I'm in a very niche, sort of specialized area of medicine. And I've chosen to keep it up, not for financial reasons, but because it's nice to be outside of myself for some part of the year, and you're so inside of yourself when you're in Hollywood. So yeah, and part of the reason I got into writing was because I was initially involved in medicine, then I became involved in medical shows, then I was a consultant, then I was a writer, and then I got into directing. But I wouldn't have done any of that if I wasn't gay. Because I was closeted, I was just on the run, just acquiring careers, one after the other, racking up achievements.
To avoid marriage to a
yeah.
woman? Yeah.
Yeah, to avoid marriage and even just dealing psychologically with what I didn't want to contend with.
Yeah.
And I was like moving, I was just ablaze. And now that I've come out, I've definitely calmed down a little bit, and I've fewer careers. But that was certainly what that came out of. So.
Great. Can you tell us what's next for the film? Maybe Charlie or Jonathan? I don't know.
Yeah, well, we're hoping to release it next year. We're about to make an announcement about a distributor.
Oh, great. Great. Well, you guys all got a ballot when you came in for the audience award I mentioned earlier. You can share the QR codes with each other. Just please vote. Our audience awards are really important, and they help movies move forward. So I want to thank you guys all for coming, and thank you for bringing your beautiful, beautiful film to the Hamptons.
Thank you for having us.
So thanks.